My cheating girlfriend ruined my life because she was insecure, so I abandoned her in another country. I began dating my girlfriend a little over 8 months ago, and it has been rocky to say the least. From the start, she was very insecure about our relationship. She would constantly tell me that I was out of her league, and ask why I was dating her. To which I would reply that I like her, and so I'm dating her, and there's not a deep meaning behind it. I would call her beautiful, praise her quirks, and take her on dates regularly to help make her feel secure. I thought she was the perfect girl, and wanted to eventually marry her. But she never stopped talking about how she didn't deserve me. What really bothered me was that she would constantly say that I was going to cheat on her because she was ugly and inexperienced. I would say that that's ridiculous, and I would never cheat on her. She would ask to see my phone, but when I would say yes, she would back out and begin apologizing for being annoying. I spent so many nights comforting her and assuring her that I was loyal to her. For the last few weeks, she had not brought that topic up, so I thought that she had finally matured from her insecurity. She even began hanging out with her friends, something that she never did when we started dating. I was really happy for her, and encouraged her to go out as much as she wanted. But little did I know, she was actually planning on breaking my heart. One day, she came home drunk at 5 a.m. in the morning, and fell asleep as soon as she hit the bed. But since she was tired, she forgot to lock her phone. I didn't even notice it at first, but it soon started blowing up with notifications. I picked it up so I could put it on silent, but noticed that all the texts she just received were from a guy. Remember that it was 5 a.m. in the morning, so I was understandably weirded out by a guy texting her at this hour. I decided to open the chat and see what it was that he wanted from her. But the things I saw broke my heart. He was sending her the pictures from their most recent encounter, and they were having intimacy in all of them. I couldn't believe my eyes, and investigated further. It turns out, they had been meeting in secret for months, and she was 100% cheating on me. Remember when I said she had started hanging out with her friends more and more? Yeah, that was her going out to meet this guy. I didn't understand why she would do this. Right up until yesterday, we were talking about how much we loved each other. And here she was, coming back after sleeping with another man. I had to hold back a scream and ended up puking in the bathroom. I also looked at other chats, and found even more ridiculous stuff. She was telling her friends that she was only cheating on me because I was probably cheating on her as well. She had convinced herself that she was just getting payback, when in reality she was crushing my spirit. All those nights of comforting her insecurity had been for nothing. I threw the phone near the bed and left the house because I couldn't stand looking at her. I couldn't even go to a friend's house because all our friends were mutual, and most of them already knew about her cheating. I sat in a coffee shop, crying about what I had just found out. When I went home, my girlfriend was already awake and preparing breakfast. She greeted me happily, but this time I noticed the hint of guilt in her expression. I finally realized why she would always make me a delicious breakfast after a night out. It was her way of apologizing for her horrible deeds. She had been doing it for so long that this relationship was over, and there was no chance of reconciliation at this point. But I also didn't just want to leave it peacefully and be the only one who had to go through suffering. So I acted like nothing was wrong and asked her to go on a vacation with me. The location I proposed was a non-speaking country. But to make sure that she would go on the trip, I dropped some hints that made it seem like I was going to propose. She responded very well, and was excited to go on the trip with me. She did ask that I keep the duration as low as possible, most likely so she could meet the other guy as soon as she could. I agreed because in the end, it wasn't going to matter. When we landed, I immediately took her to the hotel room and slept with her. It was actually disgusting for me, but I persevered through it. Once it was over, I told her to stay in the room while I went to eat some breakfast. What she didn't know, however, was that I had sneaked out all the luggage with bags full of trash. So she had no clothes or possessions that she could use. She also didn't know that I hadn't booked a return flight for her. I told the hotel staff that she would be paying for everything, and left for the airport. A few hours later, I landed back home with my phone blowing up with texts. But I ignored it, and finally took a sigh of relief.